doing that, building the physical capacity to do that screening. They tried last year, but they just couldn't maintain it. It's very tiring.
Yeah, and they had rotations with imports that didn't work out well with the chemistry of the team. And don't underestimate that, the work that's required in the off-season. We all think that it happens in season, but you've got to turn up and be a pro, and that all happens in the off-season for these players. Serve
shot won't go, but Froling keeps it alive. Canada involved again from long range to beat the buzzer. Hillman can't keep it alive. Boomers yet to find their rhythm on offense. Mansfield, one of the savviest veterans in the game. There's the look-away pass. Hillman to Canada. Froling, double teamed. Hillman, open in the corner, Blitzarves, won't quite drop. And away comes ball ace. Beautifully done. So composed.
Tough. And that ability to play on both sides of her body, right to left, as she proceeded down the floor in that fast break transition, and to go above the length of Keely Froling. Elite basketball there.
No rush, no panic. She had a defender on skates. Blitzarves draws a foul. So they are going to be undersized all season. Panita Davidson, their tallest player at 190, Screeny. They're just going to have to find a way to use their size or lack thereof to their advantage. And how do they do that?
Well, it takes time, and obviously they've had a disrupted preseason, if you will, to date. It hasn't gone to plan. People coming in late, and you can see that in their continuity at the moment. They're just not gelling or clicking, so that's going to take time. But they've got to go to their rocks, their solid pieces they've recruited. Blitzarves is one, Froling is another. Froling's had some looks early, probably forced a bit at times, but getting that ball through hands and finding ways potentially at the later end of the shot clock rather than the early is going to pay dividends for them.
Sarah Blitzarves with her first points in Lilac. Game number 268 tonight for her, season 15. Turner, Mansfield, back to Brianna Turner. Back out to Mansfield. Lightning up by 8. Canada. Froling. Reed. In for an option. Hillman. Canada. Boomers trying to get a bit of movement into their offense here. Went looking for Hillman. Was beautifully read by Bree Turner. Slapped it to her own advantage. Can they punish the other way through Willoughby? They can. Adelaide humming early.
And a nice basket for the newly doned Adelaide Lightning player, Jocelyn Willoughby. She was an impactful player for Sydney Flames last year. Struggled with an Achilles injury, as we all know, but averaged a touch under 16 points per game in WNBL 23.
Oh, that one won't drop either for Sarah Blitzarves. She might get another look. Canada. Blitzarves takes it to the rack this time and draws another foul.
And that's a great decision for Blitzarves. Probably the younger version of her would have probably settled for an outside shot again, but saw the advantage. Jocelyn Willoughby caught out a stance there, put it to the floor, used her athleticism, and got herself to an easier shot option from the foul line rather than taking that long three.
41 points, a career high against Melbourne on the 4th of January last season. So Chris Lucas solved the problem of how to match her up. He just recruited her.
That's where you call the lady was in flow. She was in that zone state. I called that game. It was phenomenal. And then the next game she went 0,
yep,
but made up for it with that 41, didn't she?
That was fun. 15 for 17 that night. She could not miss. Except the 2 times she did, of course. But you know what I mean. Here's Willoughby. Loses the handle. Here's Davidson in off the bench. Panina with a really important role to play in this side this season. And she comes up with a couple of points early. Good for her confidence.
Surprised to not see her start, actually. I thought it would help better with the balance of the team, perhaps not. But I expect her to have an impact, not only with the blue-collar work that she does, but also her leadership. She's been in the league a long time now. The girl would be considered a vet.
Taylor Mole put up a 3-point shot, which wouldn't go. Reed, Froling. It bounces out again. Davidson is fouled. So a few rattling around the rim at the moment for the Boomers. They're hanging in, margin just 8 points.
And that's all thanks to Davidson. Comes in off the bench, bang, bang, gets 2 points to a name, and then does the blue-collar work, gets the offensive board, from the missed shot from Froling, and now finds herself at the foul line. And that's the way the Boomers are just keeping themselves in the contest right now. They're not finding what they need from their offensive structure. Ball movement, player movement's a bit sloppy at the moment, but they're getting to the foul line, and that's just closing the deficit that little bit much. 5th
season at the Boomers for Panita Davidson. She is their most experienced player. 5 years at the club. As we mentioned, a really important role for her this year in this structure. So off Adelaide, Boomers ball. Canada thought about the inbound to Davidson. Instead, she'll go to Blitzarv, sets her feet. Turner. To Brazel. First game in 18 months of WNBL after a knee reconstruction. Mole. Lizzie Tonks, who's come across from the Caps. Turner. Back to Brazel. Shot clock down to 5. Mole against Blitzarves. Takes it to the rack and one. Great start for the youngster Taylor Mole on her professional debut. 5 years in college, 2 years at Colorado State, 3 years at UC Santa Barbara. You go and put a move on a 268-game Opal veteran.
She just slotted in nicely, didn't she? The Tasmanian junior getting her first points in her debut for the Adelaide Lightning. And isn't it nice? It's by committee right now. If you look at both teams, anyone watching at home, you can see the beautiful ball movement down one end of the floor to the disjointedness that we see from the Boomers right now. Let's see if they can make amends here on this play.
Sarah Kalea, number 4 into the game for the Boomers. Former Caps and Sydney player. Injury replacement for Christy Wallace until Wally's back up and going. Boomers are hoping that'll be early December after having meniscus surgery. Mole. Willoughby. Turner. There's that ball movement that Screeny spoke of. Shot clock down to 7. Mole again from long range. Off hands, gathered in. Turner keeps it alive. Willoughby works on Kalea and one.
Too strong, too quick. Here's Willoughby there. We know she can put the ball to the floor. We saw her do it last year with the Sydney Flames. Great aggression here. 2 open stance for the Boomers. The Boomers, unfortunately, if they can't get it together on the offensive end, the one place that they can have a little bit more control of and assertiveness in the way they go about is the defensive end. And right now in this first quarter, they aren't showing that.
Let's head courtside. Good evening. Welcome and welcome back, Megan Huswaite.
It's a very good evening to you guys, and it's a very good evening so far for Nat Hurst and her Adelaide Lightning. She began that last time out by asking her team, what would we change? And her answer was absolutely nothing, possibly just a bit of talk down the defensive end, but she does want to see her team pick up their running game to close out this opening term.
Thanks, Megs. You mentioned had a massive, massive off-season. Nat's game all about perpetual motion, just flying up and down the floor. She said they'd play it 40 minutes flat out if they could. They realise they're going to have to slow the game up at times, Screeny, but if you're playing in a Nat Hurst team, bring your runners.
That's exactly the way Nat Hurst played with the Adelaide Lightning, but then obviously in her great tenure with the UC Caps, where she ran the ship under the great coach Kerry Graff. It was get it and go, fly the lanes, run hard, get it tall big. She had Lauren Jackson there as her 5-man, so she's kind of paying it forward, if you will, in the terms of what she did in the game into the way of the style that she wants to play as a coach as well.
Panita Davidson yet to hit one from the free throw line. This is again 1 for 4 now. Froling managed to keep it alive for the Boomers. Kalea wide open, good ball movement this time from Melbourne. That's better.
Much needed bucket there from the Boomers, going 4 of 10 from the foul line. That's hurting them in terms of the deficit, but a much needed bucket all the same.
It's arms wide open. Put Basham into the game. She pulls the trigger from long range. 1.5 minutes to play in the opening term. Boomers trying to just hang in here. They're down by 11. Froling receives from Davidson. Wants to take on Turner. Extracts another foul. What are you seeing so far in the Boomers' offense, Screeny? Obviously, you mentioned disjointed, yet to find that chemistry. It's going to take some time, but what have you made of their inside-outside balance?
You know, Keely Froling, she'll be a presence, whether it's inside or outside. She's not afraid to go up against anyone, and she's obviously giving up a lot of centimetres against Turner, but put her head down there. She'll never die wondering, will Keely Froling, and used her strength and assertiveness to get herself to the line. But equally, would love to see Canada be a bit more in control, obviously still finding her feet at both ends of the floor, but, you know, be a bit more assertive in the way she plays and the punch that she can have in this game as well.
Margin at 9. Boomers have just managed to stabilise the situation after getting blitzed early. Turner. Tonks. Steps back on Froling. So Chris Lucas, I get the feeling he'd be a little happier with their last 5 or 6 minutes after their first 5 were, well, they got blown out.
Absolutely, but the nerves has always plays a part. First game, first time that you're probably wearing the Melbourne Boomers singlet. We know that they've had a lot of changes in the off-season, a lot of disruptions in the preseason. Well, it's going to take time. So when you look at this first quarter, to be down by 9 potentially or under 10 is probably a positive going into the second.
And those points really came early. Remember that Adelaide had 7 on the board before the Boomers had even looked like scoring.
And if they can just tidy up a little bit on the defensive end in terms of no second efforts for the Adelaide Lightning and put away probably those shots from the foul line. They've already missed 7 in this first quarter. The fact that they're getting to the foul line is exceptional. To get there, you know, 6 times already in 1 quarter is very decisive basketball in terms of penetrating, getting 2 feet in the keyway. So that's obviously something that he's wanted to do this season as well.
It's a great opportunity for Cherie Kalea, her 5th season in the league. Spent a few years at Sydney and last season had a career best year at the Caps. Not offered a contract this year. It's an opportunity to be an injury replacement early in the season for Christy Wallace. Hasn't put a foot wrong, really impressed Chris Lucas as Brazel takes it to the hoop.
And that's the second time we've seen that play. That simple ball movement, ball reversal, change from one side to the other, and the simple catching the Melbourne Boomers defense out, and the simple back cut, give and go. Davidson
tries to put a move on Taylor Mole, sticks to the task, gets some assistance from Turner, and the foul is called. Bree didn't like it.
Great job here by Mole. Undersized, uses her athleticism, got some great length. The 185-centimetre player. Turner, I think with her second foul, probably see her go to the bench. Don't want to get herself in anymore, especially the early stages of this game, but we can see already the impact that she's going to have for the Adelaide Lightning this season and protecting that keyway.
So the Boomers, as you mentioned, have left some points on the table so far. 7 for 14, and Panina's 0 from 5. You see her just throw her head back there. Could have been a really productive opening term for Panina Davidson. Instead, she's got a bit of a monkey on the back. Finally makes one. Margin at 9. Final 16 seconds of the term. Brazel. Badish. Basham. Brooke Basham, lovely move. And it's quarter time in Adelaide. Great start from the home team. They jumped out to a 7-point lead with the opening 7 of the game. They led by as much as 14 points in that opening term. And at the first change, it's Adelaide 24, Melbourne 13.
Stay in, Lil. Stay in. Hey, we talked about this post catch here. Okay, so if they pinch it here, it's back door. Come on, T. Okay, you got burn on that on the other side, and then beat off the bounce. You're better than that.
You must get a body on a box out. They will come over your back. We're not even putting a body on. We cannot compete in the air. They're athletic, right? We can't. We've got to get a body pushed back. I'd rather see us foul that way. Please keep your hands out. Everything's we have to live with that. Some people with 2 fouls. Hey, they aren't guarding it. They are not guarding it. But when you cut, you need to respace quickly to keep when the key looks like this, we can put the ball on the floor. Then when someone's going, we need to feel, understand. Right? We shot 4 to go because we just kind of
We've always been deadly in the paint. We've always had those quick feet to cross you over. We've always made baskets. We've always had range. We've always been fire on the court. We honour our trailblazers on and off the court, breaking down barriers and creating a path for the next generation. From our communities to the world stage, we've always had a connection to this country. This game is played across our ancestral lands, and we've always had a vision of bringing this country together to celebrate our culture. This is Indigenous Round.
It's quarter time, opening night of WNBL season 23-24. Great to have you with us on ESPN WNBL Wednesdays. It's the Lightning over the Boomers by 11 points as we start the second term. Read to Lily Ratunno, who's making her debut tonight for the Boomers. She's into the game. Reed receives back, tidies up her own work, scores the opening points of the second term as we head to Megs. Megs, you're listening on both huddles. We'll come back to Megan shortly.
If there was any positive to come out of the first quarter for Melbourne Boomers, it was their second efforts on the glass, 8-0 boards, and they followed that up for the start of the second quarter with an 0 board there to close the deficit to 10 points rather, as they see themselves out on the break.
Canada, Hillman. Good start to the second term here for Melbourne. Izzy Bourne. Canada with the defensive work, gives away the foul there on Willoughby. Take a look at the numbers in the opening term. Points in the paint, 16-2 in favour of Adelaide. They did a fantastic job of getting to the rack.
Yeah, they did, and it actually wasn't through dribble penetration. It was just through that basic cutting action that they saw from one side to the other, the back cutting action, the give and go, 6 assists to their name as well. And the great thing was 11 points off the bench, so their distribution, their ability, it's not just Willoughby or Turner that's going to do the job. They're going to do it by committee from a lot of positions on the court.
Yeah, they're certainly getting through their squad, giving everyone some early minutes here. Canada looking for her first points as a Boomer, not quite. Hillman in good position, can't finish. Boomers led the rebound count 13-8 in that opening term. It was one area where they did have things on their terms. Lovely work from Borlase, took the contact, made the finish.
And the footwork, Jace, of some of these juniors is elite. Borlase, Brazzles, we can see here the craftiness, putting it between her legs, coming to a stop, then having a secondary move. Brazzles can do the same. Bourne, she's got elite footwork in the paint, needs to develop that left hand, but we're going to see this on show. And how exciting is it for Nat Hurst in her second year with the youth coming through in her team, and the years to come, this team is going to punch a ticket, I think, for many years into that top 4.
Izzy Borlase played one game in 21-22 as an injury replacement in January, then stepped in as a full-time player and was the Youth Player of the Year and the 6th Player of the Year last season. Incredible breakout year. Ratunno looking for her first points. Here's Turner. Such a smooth mover up and down the court. Mansfield back to Bree Turner. Kicks it out. Bourne. Jordan Canada again. Such a busy player. Looking to create. Ratunno. Davidson went looking for Hillman. Off the leg of Turner and out. Canada to blitz arms. 6 points for Sarah so far in the game. Leads the way for Melbourne. Canada. Hillman. Yep.
And finally, they get one to find the bottom of the net. 2 of 14, just 14% in that opening term. A much-needed bucket out of a nice out-of-bounds action there from the Melbourne Boomers.
Mansfield to Turner. Willoughby with a little bit of space. That one won't drop. Reed scraps against Borlase. Borlase wins the ball. Bourne. Turner. Willoughby gets Davidson off her feet. Such a class player, Jocelyn Willoughby. Lightning's lead into double figures. 29-19. Early going second term, opening night, ESPN's WNBL Wednesdays. Brought to you by Ford Aussie Hoops. Sarah Blitzarms with 6 points, 5 for Hillman, 3 for Davidson. Lead the way for the Boomers. While for the Lightning, 8 to Willoughby, 7 to Mansfield, 5 to Borlase. Sharing the load around so far for Adelaide. We're out to a 10-point lead. Adelaide by 10 points. It's 29-19 in favour of the home team. Just over 7 minutes to play in this second term. There's Steph Talbot on the bench, currently rehabbing her knee after having ACL surgery in February of this year. So she'll be about 12 months. They're saying they're going to be cautious with her screening, obviously at her age and the stage of her career and with Olympic Games, etc. coming around. So we won't expect to see Steph until probably February. EVA finals, you would think. Here's Blitzarves. Nice spin move from Hillman. She's starting to get involved. It won't quite drop, but she'll get to the line.
I reckon we've got to go check those nets. I think there's plastic on them for the Boomers right now. They've had some really good looks, just rimmed out time and time again. We saw in that opening term and now again, but great footwork there and body work down low.
Starting to feel like they're finding their way as we head courtside to Megs.
Jocelyn Willoughby is finding her way too for Adelaide, and WNBL fans who watched her for Sydney last season might notice a bit of a change in her shooting form. She's been working on that with her New York WNBA coach Sandy Brondello, and Sandy's hoping to see that translate now into WNBL form, particularly a bit of a different tweak to her three-point shot. We might hopefully see that tonight.
Thanks, Meg. She shot 38% from the field and 37% from three-point range last season. Oh. Lovely feed. Turner to Willoughby's pretty to watch.
She is lighting it up tonight. Excuse the pun, or pun intended, in fact. Is Willoughby comfortable as you will in that blue, red and yellow uniform with the 10 points?
So Blitzarves steps on the sideline. Adelaide ball. So the Lightning jumped out to a 7-point lead early. They led by as much as 14 points in that opening term. Since then, it's been around about the 10-point mark. Boomers have closed a little at times. Adelaide have stretched it a touch. The game sort of feels like it's found its equilibrium on the scoreboard for the moment. That's a good stop for the Boomers. They'll get another opportunity to get it back to single digits. Following the Canada. Old, very well credentialed, plenty of experience. Off to Froling. They just cannot get it to drop at the moment. From long range, they're 1 for 7. Mansfield gets to the stripe and buries it.
She knows it's caught by the back of the hand every inch. She's played so many games with this uniform, and as a kid growing up as a North Adelaide junior, so we see Adelaide come up with a great rebound into transition here.
Canada now none for 4. Here's Mansfield again working on Froling. Keely got a hand in it to break it up, and Reid pounces on the loose ball. To Reid. Canada back to Reid from the corner. They needed it. She delivers. And inside, single figures. Margin back to 9 points with 5.5 to play in the second term. To Reid, originally from Auckland, has been friends with Penina Davidson since she was 9 years of age. So a great opportunity for the two Kiwi internationals to link up here at the Boomers. She's decided to move to Melbourne and have a familiar face around. She and Penina get to play some basketball together, which is lovely.
Absolutely, and I think she'll have a good impact. She had a great Asia Cup as well. It'll be interesting to see how they go. It's nice to have Penina have some friendships there. She's lost a lot with George, Madgen moving out, Wally on the sideline as well. But
Louise Farnworth and Stella Beck, etc.
Yeah, Murray retiring. Yep. My goodness, we can keep going. But the good thing for the Boomers right now, all things considered, it ain't going their way. But their second efforts have been relentless. They'll continue to ply away at finding the bottom of the net and taking the shots when they're open, and they've just got to stay around the mark. There's still plenty of juice left in this game, this half, and then hopefully get momentum coming into third. And now the challenge is for Adelaide. Can they put the foot on the throat and continue what they're doing, but do it for 40 minutes like Nat is requiring them to do?
This timeout brought to you by Cygnett, Australian-owned, Australian design. Cygnett powering the WNBL with an extensive range of digital accessories, power banks, charging cables, wall chargers, so much more. Visit cygnett.com. Let's head to Megs.
Nice job was the complimentary message to the Melbourne Boomers players from their coach, Chris Lucas. They're going to pop Tara Reid here in the four-man, and they're looking to put Keely Froling switching between the 2 and 3.
Next to Megs, courtside. Margin sits at 9. Loose ball gathered in by Bourne. Turner matched up with Hillman. Mansfield against Canada. Now got Froling for company, and Keely's extra length made the difference. Another stop here for the Boomers. Trying to grind their way back into this. Froling, Blitzarbs, back to Canada. Already the architect in this team. Reid. Back to Jordan. Goes herself, still can't get one to drop though. None for 5. Hillman keeps it alive. She's having an impact. Reid the travel. Naz Hillman. 4 rebounds. Froling's got 4. Davidson's got 5. They've got some power around the rim.
And that play might have ended in a turnover, but if I'm Chris Lucas on the sideline, I'm happy. I'm happy that they changed sides. I'm happy the ball got through hands. There seemed to be a turn up in the dial, in intensity, in the desire of that offensive set there.
Ball lays. It's with Mansfield now. Bourne. Willoughby. Off balance. In a Blitzarbs. Gets a foul. So Jocelyn Willoughby, double figure, leads the game with 10 points. Mansfield's got 9. Ball lays to Turner. Bourne to Brazel. Almost for Canada. Mansfield, not quite. Ball keeps it alive in the corner. Now to Bourne. Will she work on Froling? She will. It does it really well.
And I think we're going to hear this girl's name a lot this season, Izzy Bourne. Her ability to play multiple positions in terms of inside, outside. She's strong and robust enough to defend a big, even though she's undersized, and got the ability to shoot and draw people out and take people off the dribble.
Pass from Reid just away from Taylor Simmons, who's into the game. Number 6 for the Boomers, making her debut tonight in lilac. Mansfield the look away. Ball lays from the corner. Kept alive by Turner. Canada hits the floor. Mansfield a slight fumble. Regains the handle, feeds it inside. Here's Bourne again, not this time. Hillman to Canada. Simmons. Canada, Hillman, Reid. Simmons goes to the corner. Reid out the other side for Froling. A fumble from Reid, the moment's lost. Brazel. Bourne from long range. You mentioned her inside-outside game. We're seeing all of it at the moment. Canada slows things down. Inside 3 minutes in the first half. Margin sits at 11. ESPN Wednesday night WNBL. A season opener from 36's arena. Double dribble called there on Jordan Canada.
It's been a bit of a dry period for both teams in the last 2.5 minutes at both ends of the floor. can't really say it's because of the defensive dominance, but just the lack of continuity at both ends, both teams. And again, we know this is game 1 of WNBL 24, a lot to like from both. And right now, this last two and a half minutes is about momentum. Momentum for either team to get heading into that halftime break.
Travel called there. So Boomers will get it back. Shooting percentage has fallen away a little bit too for Adelaide. They're up in the 60s in that first term. They're down to 53 now, 15 of 28 from the field. The Boomers struggling at just 23% right now, 6 for 26. They're getting the looks, they're generating the shots, they're just not dropping at the moment. Simmons, Reed, Taylor Simmons, another with an extensive college career. Froling. Here's Hillman keeping it alive again. Not this time. Out of nowhere comes Keely Froling. Swatted away by Turner. Froling still working. She's got 3 to beat under the hoop. Ball still alive. Mad scramble. Adelaide come up with it through Bourne. She can feed it through. Mansfield, the give. Bourne, the ball movement. Now the finish. Not quite. It was pretty to watch. Brazel, Mansfield. That won't go either. Some ring rust. Hillman, she lays in 2. Both sides just struggling to find their range in this second term. Screening, the game's turning a little bit scrappy. For the Boomers, they probably don't mind that. They don't want the shootout right now. They don't have the firepower to put big numbers on the board.
No, they don't. They want to keep this game to probably around the 70-point mark. They've probably got a margin or a goal set for the game. And then offensively for Adelaide, it's just gotten a little bit stagnant. A few turnovers, errant turnovers that they didn't see coming their way. But the Boomers have just kept within touching distance, and that's all it is in this last 2 minutes or minute now that we have on the clock, is just get the momentum, lock it in, keep it under double digits, and then see what happens and unfolds in the third quarter.
The official WNBL app finally here. We don't want you to miss a minute of the action. Live scores, highlights, all your player and team info and more. It's fantastic. Download it. It's free today where you get your apps. The WNBL app for season 23-24. Mansfield. Bourne, shot clock down to a couple. Boomers ball, getting plenty of stops. Chris Lucas, one thing he would be happy with, Screeny's the defensive end right now. They've held Adelaide to 11 points this quarter.
It has. Second efforts kept them in the game in the first, if they could just find the bottom of the net from the foul line. But then defensively, got some stops, got some kill action, 3 stops in a row, which is helping them close this deficit.
Reed, Hillman, inside. Froling, can she work on Turner? Goes one way, goes the other. 3 in the key.
And this is where the Boomers have got to find their adjustment. We know that Keely's going to play that inside presence in the undersized position, but is posting Turner up to her advantage. Can she maybe stretch her to the short corner, take her off the dribble, or maybe even further out to the 3-point line, get Turner in some pick and roll action, potentially to change things up and threaten, knowing she's got 2 fouls to her name already.
So it was Adelaide by 11 points at quarter time. It was 24-13. In the second term, it's 13-11 in favour of the Boomers. So they've cut the margin by a couple, down to 9 points. This match being supported by the First Peoples Assembly of Victoria, which is negotiating the country's first treaty. So if you're an Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander person in or from Victoria, register with the Assembly today to have your say and help decide the next steps of the journey. For more information, visit firstpeoplesvic.org. Chris Lucas, 17th WNBL season, and he's just a winner, Screeny. He's been in finals 12 of his previous 16 years.
Yeah, he's a lead. He's been around the game a very long time, 4th all-time games coach in the WNBL. As you said, 16 years as head coach, 2 premierships up with the Townsville Fire. He knows the game. He knows this very, very well. He knows what it takes to win championships, and he knows how to grind as well. He's gone at the bottom all the way to the top and everywhere in between, and it's nice to see that he's still involved in the WNBL.
He's realistic about where his squad is at. Complete rebuild, really. Just Davidson and Wallace from last year's group. So it is a new generation of Boomers. He knows it's going to take some time. All their focus at the moment on the defensive side of building that so they can hang in games as they're doing tonight. Mansfield steps out.
And you can just see out of that timeout, the Boomers switched into a little bit of a 2-3 zone just to be a bit disruptive, change it up, and it's forced a turnover from the Adelaide Lightning. Now gives possession and the final possession of the second quarter to the Boomers, and hopefully a score and momentum heading into the third.
Should be the final play of the opening half. Canada brings it up the floor. Jordan none for 5 herself so far tonight, but with 4 assists. Down to 5. Does she go herself? Does she go to Hillman? She goes herself. That won't drop either. Froling flashes in, can't take it. And it is half-time at 36ers Arena, opening night of season 2023-24. It's the Lightning leading it by 9 points, 35-26 in that term. It was Adelaide 11, Melbourne 13, so they cut into that lead ever so slightly and reduced it to 9 points at the major break. Jocelyn Willoughby leads the game with 10 points. Mansfield has 9 for Adelaide, while Hillman has 9 and 6 rebounds in a very promising first half in the league for Nars Hillman as we head to Megs.
Well, Jocelyn, welcome back to the WNBL. A good first half for you and Adelaide Lightning, but the Boomers are coming at you and they're switching. You're going to be very much aware of that going into the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are going to make some adjustments, but the biggest thing for us is cleaning up their O boards, rebounding for us. So that's the biggest adjustment.
How are you feeling? Pretty much straight off the plane after representing New York in the WNBA finals. How are you feeling out there after a first half of basketball?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. You know, still settling in, getting adjusted to the plays and the system overall, but yeah, feeling pretty good.
Great to see you back. We'll let you get in there for half-time and good luck in the second half.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, those O boards 13-5 in favour of the Boomers. They are controlling things around the rack screening. Lightning out to a great start. They led it by 9 points as we head to the break. Half-time, opening night. It's Adelaide 35, Boomers 26. He's had 6 balls. Like we were saying, they're undersized, but you know they've been dominating the rebounds. O boards are 13-5.
So we're here today at the Loom in Melbourne, checking out all of the wonderful artists and the artwork that's displayed here, and celebrating the opening round of the WNBL, which also happens to be the Indigenous round. So come have a look at some of the artwork. It's interesting just to, get a little glimpse of the stories and the inspiration behind the artwork. This one's nice. This is one I would have in my house.
This is my first time ever today being at the Loom, and this space is just incredible. It's a credit to all the Indigenous artists out there who put in such hard work.
Yeah, looking forward to playing Indigenous round and wearing the Indigenous jersey. That's something that I always find super interesting. As with all the other paintings here, all Indigenous artwork has a story behind it.
You can't be what you can't see. To have representation and then know that, our mob are watching and they're seeing our culture being celebrated.
Being a proud Indigenous woman, my job is not only to go out and play basketball and perform to the best of my abilities, but to inspire the youth and give them something to dream for and hope for. I know I said the other one was my favourite, but I really like this one too.
I'm really proud to represent my family and share my culture with my teammates. That's really important for me, so everyone gets to learn something and feel more connected to where they're playing.
It's probably the one time of the year that I get the goosebumps out on the court. I get really excited, and just to see the celebration pre-game, to then be involved in these elite games as well. It's the time of the year I really look forward to stand out there and know that I'm representing my culture as well, along with the players that are out on the court with me.
Round one, Indigenous round for WNBL in 23-24. And to celebrate Indigenous round, the WNBL and NBL hosting a special basketball community event at the Loom in Melbourne this Sunday afternoon. There'll be players from the Flyers, the Boomers, Melbourne United there to sign autographs, take some photos. So don't miss out. You can get tickets now. Visit the Loom's Melbourne website. What a spectacular exhibition that is. So get along if you're in Melbourne and enjoy that this Sunday. It is half-time here, WNBL Wednesdays rather, here on ESPN. Screeny. Half-time, Adelaide jumped out of the blocks, first 7 points of the game. Since then, it's been relatively even. They got out to a 14-point lead, but the Boomers have done a good job at just hanging around.
It was a game of quarters, really. Adelaide were elite in that first opening 7 points to lead the first quarter, 7-0 run before a first time out, led by Mansfield, the veteran. She finished with 9 points for the half, but then they've got the backup of their juniors, Brazel, Borlays, and then Willoughby has just slotted in to the Lightning colours very well, as has Turner. She's got the 5 assists to her name to go with the 6 rebounds. But then the Boomers have hung around. Jace, it hasn't been their night yet. And I say that word lightly because we know how good they are at coming back. They're a top 4 team last year. If they can find the bottom of the net a little bit more, get some more stops on the defensive end like we saw in that second quarter, this game's going to go down to the wire.
Shooting at just 23% in that first half. The Boomers 7 for 31. The Lightning up around 48%. They're in the mid-60s at one point in the opening term. And certainly on the boards, rebound side of things, 24-19, the O board's 13-8. They've been really strong around the boards.
High committee, and that's the thing you want, the blue-collar work. Penina Davison, she came on in that opening term, 4 minutes, 3 offensive rebounds. We know the blue-collar work she can bring, but they had 12 O boards for that opening half, and I know Hurst won't be happy about that.
Such an exciting lineup, the Adelaide Lightning. We've spoken about their blend of youth and experience, some of the great young players on display in that opening term. Did some wonderful things in the first half. And then a couple of great imports. Brianna Turner, we saw her class. And Jocelyn Willoughby, what a first half from her as she just slots neatly in. Wonderful first half from her. 10 points on 4 of 6 shooting. And just, well, as you said, she's just slotted in. It feels like she's been playing in this group for a while. She only arrived yesterday.
And we heard Housewaite talk about that she's worked on her 3-point shooting. We might get to see that. We know that she's in the Liberty camp with our great Australian Opals coach, Sandy Brondello. But for me, it's that she didn't force anything. She just did what was needed. She fitted into the system. She's definitely a high IQ player, considering she only got off the plane a couple of days ago, but wasn't missing a beat at all. And that's just class to the level of player that she is.
So pleasing first half from Adelaide. They hold a 9-point lead, but as we said, Melbourne are just hanging around. Plenty still to play out in this one. Third quarter action of our season opener, Adelaide and Melbourne. And it's coming up next.
yeah, it doesn't actually feel very safe. Yeah, it's not good. Yeah. There's not really even a bathroom. There's just a bathroom sitting next to, and just a toilet. Yeah, so I'm not happy about that. Yeah. And then you come here and, well, not great places, but I stayed somewhere okay in the city last time. But then you come here and this all happens, and it's like, well, oh, we are?
I'm sorry.
Okay, you need to cue me. You'll need to cue me.
Take this. You come this side.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Okay. Hi, Rachel. How you doing? Sorry, mate. You ready? You all good?
Yep.
Steady by. Steady by. Correct. She has no earpiece. They're back on air in 30, and then they'll...
Hi, my name's Christy. I'm Jordan. We're here with Fletcher and Sia, and we're here for the Forward Aussie Hoops program. We're about to play a bit of Jenga. These are the teams. So Sia and Jordan, me and Fletcher, and let's see who takes the cake. That was easy. Put it back on top.
What do you love about basketball?
I like the friends that you get to make.
When did you start playing basketball?
I started playing when I was 6.
Issues with Megs.
Well, we are in Rachel Spawn territory tonight, and the basketball legend joins me now. You'd be very happy with the Lightning's first half.
Absolutely, Megan. The 7-0 start, so I guess it's nearly the difference now, but, you know, Lightning are looking really settled, really fit, you know, new combinations on the floor and you know, obviously some new players with boomers finding their feet as well, but yeah, really interested to see how the second half plays out.
Now, your heart is full again, Rachel Spawn, because the iconic number 14 that you made famous here at the Adelaide Lightning in the WNBL was retired following your retirement from basketball, but it is back on the back of Izzy Borlase, and I know it's making your heart sing.
Certainly is. I couldn't think of anyone better, and I know that Izzy's, you know, doing some wonderful moves out there. Much better dribbler than I ever was, so looking really good and three-point shooter. So no, look, Izzy wrapped to see number 14 out there, and really exciting future for Miss Borlase.
Well, it's great to see her wearing number 14. Great to see you, Rach, and you're with some former WNBL pioneers as well, so we hope you enjoy the second half.
Thanks, Vince.
Thanks to Megan, and thanks to the humble champion, Rachel Spawn.
Oh, she's an awesome person. I saw her on the weekend. She's now in a GM of operations at AFLW Port Adelaide, and I think it's great that number 14 is is getting to be paid forward to another great, a potential great, I should say, of South Australian basketball in ball A's, and she's going to be a pleasure to watch. But I can't speak higher of Rachel Spawn, and I played with her, and she was my great captain as well.
If you're Nat Hurst, what was her message at halftime?
Turnovers. Got to value the rock. They had turnovers in that 10 turnovers in that opening half, and that's something that they'll want to probably reduce if they're going to have any chance to win this game, because we know the Boomers are going to crank up the dial a little bit. Continue the ball movement. I think it's been great, the movement through hands. Turner has been a point guard in that almost 195 centimetre body of hers, with the way she can distribute the ball, and keep doing a lot of the same. Get out and run the lanes, and let's see if they can hold on for that 40 minutes that Nat's looking for.
From a Boomers perspective, gee, Nars Hillman impressive in the opening half. 9 points, 6 rebounds. She was involved in everything.
She was indeed, and it was kind of like just silently as well, similar to the likes of Davison, just getting it done. Blitzovs and Froling haven't yet found their feet. Blitzovs had that opening 6 points in the term, but held scoreless in the second, and Froling doing the blue-collar work as well. We know she's going to get on the glass. She's got 6 rebounds, but only found a couple of shots in that opening half, so no doubt seeing her hopefully get the ball through her hands a little bit more in this term.
For all the latest news, highlights, statistics from the statistical guru Mark Quinn, the official WNBL app. It's available now. All your player and team info, everything you need to know about the league. Fantastic to have the WNBL app available right now wherever you get your apps. It is free and it is packed full of goodness.
It is. I am so excited for this app. It just makes life so much easier. It's all there in one spot. Simple, but promotional for our great game, and a timely thing that we need.
Second half action, opening night of season 2023-24. Wonderful to have you with us on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday on ESPN, on KO. Hi to everyone watching on Sky Sports in New Zealand and watching around the world on the FIBA YouTube channel. You can also catch all our games live next day on the WNBA League Pass throughout the season. Great to see our game available to basketball fans right around the world as we start the second half. Bourne. See her calling there for the cut from Turner. Now it's Borlase inside to Bourne. Wants to work on Reed. Kicks it back outside. Nice step from Mansfield. Shot won't drop, but they'll get another opportunity. Turner. Mansfield. Bourne. Turner back to Lauren Mansfield. Shot clock down to 3. This is good defence from the Boomers. Forces them into a long shot. And they get the ball back. Chris Lucas will be happy with that defensive set. Reed in her WNBL debut. Hillman likewise, and Canada. All new faces to this league. Hillman to the corner. Blitzarves. Can she get hot? Not yet. Sarah Blitzarves, 1 for 7 now. From the field. Mansfield. Rays feeds it inside. Turner. That won't drop either. Both sides are stone cold right now. Often the case early in the season. Rays just starting to pick up the tempo, find their feet. Early round jitters. Reed. Blitzarves. Nice identification late from Blitzarves, was almost into her shot. Saw Froling rolling to the basket and used her.
They haven't got their offensive transition going yet, the Melbourne Boomers, in pushing the floor and working the first 8 seconds of the clock. But what they did have in that play there was that just the poise to get through hands, get to the play, get it to the people that they want to have it in their hands. And that's Blitzarves and Froling, and that was a nice double punch there by those two.
11 for 19 from the stripe. Now the Boomers left some points out there, particularly early on. Anita Davidson just couldn't get them to drop. Bourne. Oh, I think it was a pass. It's in.
Well, she was none of 3 in the opening term from the land of plenty, but we'll just throw it up instead, and that'll go down.
That was a pass, wasn't it?
It was, but we'll take it. She'll take it as a 3, Jace.
It's not how, it's how many. Canada, nice move from Jordan, and she finally gets one to go. 1 for 7 from Jordan Canada.
And she's had some good looks. They've just rimmed it out, and that was a crafty move, but you can't score at one end and then give up a play on offensive transition down the other end. The Melbourne Boomers kind of negates the awesomeness of Canada showing there and displaying here on ESPN.
If it was a 3, it's the most casual 3 ball of all time. So ball A's to the line. 67% from the free throw stripe, an area of her game that should be looking to improve.
She's had a pretty big off season. She came into the Opal squad. She was injured, wasn't able to train. Went away at the World Cup just recently in 2023 under Dave Herbert and was a leader there. But she's been trying to get her body right. Her back played issues and havoc with her last year, and just finding that professionalism that's needed at this elite level in the WNBL. And I think it's going to be an exceptional season for Bull A's.
It's arms to Canada. So light on her feet. Nice move to Froling and one. Boomer's starting to get a little bit of chemistry going at the offensive end.
And you can see the energy rising just a little bit. The timing of their cuts is a little bit better. They're still out of positions on top of each other at times, but that cut there, Canada just drew in the defense, turned their heads a little bit. Healy Froling read that, was able to cut at the right time and be in the right place. Finish that three-point play.
She's up to 8 points. Turner. Margin at 6 now. Boomers haven't been this close for a while. Mansfield against Canada. Shot clock single digits. Bourne. Not quite drop. Momentum at the moment has swung Melbourne's way. Froling starting to heat up in this third term. Back out to Jordan, Canada. Calm and composed with the ball. Looking for an option. It's wide for Reed, and it's good. Basket starting to drop now for the visitors.
And that's what she's known for. She can shoot the long ball, does Reed. We've seen her do it for New Zealand as well, just slotting up in the positions that she's needed to. But it's all stemmed from their energy on the defensive end, Jay. She can see the bench getting around it. Chris is imploring them, but the composure. They pushed in transition, didn't find one early, but then Canada was able to do her stuff and create and find her teammate in the corner for a nice three.
11 points to 5 so far, Melbourne's way in this third term. The margin suddenly cut to 3. Reed, offensive foul. As Bull A's hits the floor. So Adelaide could use a steadying basket or two here as Melbourne surge back at them. Adelaide 24 points in the opening term, just 16 since in a quarter and a half. Travel called there on Turner. So if you're Nat Hurst right now, what's the message, Screeny?
Take a deep breath, value the rock, and no second shots. They've given up a few on the offensive end. 13 no boards did the Boomers have up until halftime. They've got a few more now. Just get that momentum back.
Remain a Boomers ball. Last touch on Turner. Nat Hurst frustrated. 14-point lead that they held early has been whittled away to just 3 points. And that call's been reversed. It will be an Adelaide ball.
And that's what's going to happen also with a young team. They're going to have moments where they ride the roller coaster, they're up, they come out of the blocks really well, and then they don't have that experience yet together as a unit to know how to hold on and push through.
Mansfield guarded by Canada. A little bit of space there for Bourne. Boomers with a chance to tie things up here. Canada goes herself. Away comes Izzy Bourne, puts it on the floor. So much more than just a post player, Izzy Bourne. She can run the floor, draws a foul.
And that's the sense of urgency that Adelaide Lightning need to play with, that push in pace, the first 8 seconds of the clock, and then the composure just to find what unravels as you get the defense moving and shifting. And that was a beautiful cut from Izzy. Hasn't found it from deep. We know that she has the capability to, but if you can't find it from where you go, you normally want to get other avenues, and that was a beautiful cut from Izzy Bourne.
60% from the free throw line in her college career. 1 of 2 there. Great college career it was at Nebraska. Captain there for a few seasons. Offensive Player of the Year in 2021. Margin at 4. Reed to Hillman. Now, Blitzarves. Froling keeps it alive. Blitzarves and Froling combine again. Shot clock down to 5. Canada from long range. Still there for the Boomers. You mentioned second and third opportunity, Screeny. That would be frustrating, Nat Hurst.
It would indeed. That's their 14th offensive board for the Melbourne Boomers. Just keeping them in this game, hanging them around, and Adelaide Lightning, that's just blue-collar work that needs to be done. You don't want to give teams, especially Melbourne Boomers, Chris Lucas teams, second point opportunities coming through the hands of the like of this one, Opal, Sarah Blitzarves.
It was 3 for 4 from the stripe, make it 3 for 5. Boomers leaving some points out there tonight. Now they're 12 for 21. Makes the second, back to 3. One possession game with 5 minutes to play in this third term. Early wins just so crucial in this competition for all teams as they start to get up to speed. You speak to any of the coaches, they'll tell you their best basketball will be in the back end of the season. So anything you can win early on, if you're not at full strength and not in perfect rhythm, just gold for later in the campaign. As Tonks trying to make something happen. Here is Lizzie. Rattles out. Some of those shots they're missing are the shots the Boomers were missing early in the game. Blitzarves to Canada. Jordan left with some space, so she takes it. Whistle goes. Jordan, Canada now 1 for 10. 1 for 11 make it. She's been a good creator and provider tonight. 6 assists. Just hasn't quite found her range yet from the floor.
And we can see that she's a driver. She likes to get in deep. Obviously needs to keep her feet a little bit more with someone that's so small. But she obviously packs a punch, and it'll just take some time to get used to how everyone operates, where they like their passes, and what kind of things they bring to the table in order for her to be the great facilitator that she's been recruited as.
Well done, Davidson. Had to fight her way through for that. Couldn't quite finish. And Bourne will come away. Put some speed on the ball here. She's got ball ace to the outside. She wants to go herself on Blitzarves and scores. Good steadying basket there for Adelaide. Margin back out to 5. Important 4 minutes here for Melbourne. They've come all the way from 14 points down, got close. Froling, a spin move on Bourne. Crashing in there was Turner, and she earns herself the foul.
Much needed bucket down the other end for the Adelaide Lightning. They're only 6 points, or 8 points rather, in the opening 6 minutes of this third quarter. And now another forced opportunity or turnover from one end to the other as we make our way to Turner. Hasn't had the impact in a scoring sense. We know when she was in the WNBL a couple of years ago, averaged 16.8 points a game and the 10+ rebounds. Just the 2 points, quiet for her and the caliber of player she is, but it's the other impact thing she's done. She's got the 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 O boards as well, and no doubt changed a few shots along the way in these opening 3 quarters.
So in the bonus with 4 minutes to play, it's Turner to the charity stripe. Froling and Blitzarves, you can see the chemistry building between them. They've played a bit of basketball together, of course, at Opal's camps, etc. over the years, and there's 2 more for Sarah.
That was a tough finish. A lot of contact there on that drive, but a nice little Euro step and poise and composure on that final finish from Blitzarves. Beautiful.
Played very little basketball too since last season's grand final.
She's had a lot of time off. She separated herself from the Opals for a little bit, needed a bit of downtime, started a business as well, and tried to get some refresher. So it might take her a couple of weeks, if you will, maybe a month or so to find her feet in this WNBL season as well.
Turner, Willoughby, steps out again. She's seen a few of those tonight, 4 or 5. Melbourne ball.
Adelaide is so lucky. They've got the 13 turnovers, something that Nat's probably not happy with, but fortunate for them, Adelaide have only scored 8 points of those said turnovers.
Canada, Davidson. Foul called. Sarah Kalea back in the game for the Boomers.
And just this change in tempo from the Boomers, you can see the way they're coming into their handoffs, the way they're cutting, the turn up in dial, if you will, in the intensity of their action, the purposeful movement compared to the first quarter, just makes Lightning have to defend a little bit more. And that's why you can see the scoreline has gone from double digits down to what can be a winnable margin for the Boomers in the fourth.
Davidson makes the first, leaves the second short. We're back to 3 points again. Inside 3 minutes in the third. Turner. Borlays wants to work it with Turner and does. Bourne got a hand on it, couldn't haul it in. And away comes Froling, having a real impact. Jordan Canada wants to give it to Davidson. She's double teamed, has the size advantage, can't finish, goes again and does finish. 1 point game. Borlays, Willoughby, they need this one. Quiet, and the Boomers now with a chance to hit the front for the first time in the game. Canada wants to put some speed on. Big screen from Froling, now receives, won't drop. Davidson having an impact, and Melbourne lead for the first time.
Time after time, game after game, every time I sit and I call a game with Penina Davison in it, she just cleans up the 1%ers. I would have her in my team any day of the week with what she brings. She may not give you the 20 points a game, but that blue-collar work, as we see Willoughby putting it to the floor, using her athleticism there against Blitzarves. Getting herself...
Sarah Blitzarves, fourth foul for her, so she'll sit down. 3 fouls on Reed, and for Adelaide, 3 on Turner and Bourne, and also Jocelyn Willoughby.
And that's a great foul to draw there by Jocelyn Willoughby to force one of the superstars of Melbourne Boomers, Sarah Blitzarves, to the bench in these closing stages of the third. Huge out, considering you know the outs they already have, Jace, and sitting on the sideline. Now it's what can the others do? And the bench is already depleted.
This resurgence has been largely on the back of Froling and Blitzarves and their combination, so Boomers are going to have to mix things up again. Froling, Rattano back into the game. This is Canada. Wants to work with Davidson and does. Ambitious pass knocked away. Mansfield now. Mole. Back to Lauren Mansfield. Well read by Davidson. There's those 1%ers. Can she now finish? She can. And Penina up to 10 points, 9 rebounds.
In just 10 minutes of basketball. Elite efficiency tonight here for Davidson.
She's given Melbourne back the lead. Borlays looking for an opening. Won't drop. Rolling to Canada. Jordan starting to warm up. Doesn't take the shot, goes back to Rattano. Now to Canada, who just backs out. Wants to set up, sees some space in the key. Will she take Turner on? She will. And she'll finish. Identified it, liked the matchup, went for it.
How good was that? The smallest player on the court taking on the tallest and getting it done with an elite finish there.
Just sent the message to her teammates by stepping out. Hey, don't step into this space. I'm going to take her on one-on-one. Here's Willoughby working hard at the other end. Kalea did everything she could, but fouled in the process. Jocelyn Willoughby, already 12 points tonight.
And Willoughby in these last 3 minutes of this third term has just put the team on her back and said, right, I'm going to try and get some points on the board. They're not scoring at a great percentage. 11 points for the term is the Adelaide Lightning in comparison to the opening term when they had the 24. It's just dropped off.
Yeah, 11 and 11 in their last 2 quarters. Willoughby reduces the margin to 2. These are the sort of scrappy games. A win's a win. Doesn't matter whether you pick it up now or when you're humming along in round 12. It's worth exactly the same. If you can get out of Dodge on a night like tonight, when you're just starting to find your feet, wins in these tight games early in the season, just so precious. Rattano, Kalea does well, finds some space and finishes. Nice work from Cherie Kalea. Borlays spins, steps back. Just not finding her range right now as Davidson tidies it up to Canada. Final 10 seconds of the third term. Tension starting to mount at 36's Arena. We've got ourselves a tight one on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Kalea from range, not quite. And at three-quarter time, the Boomers have got their noses in front. 25 points to 13 in that third term, and Melbourne lead at the final change by 3. It's the Boomers 51, Lightning 48. WNBL Wednesdays, opening night of season 23-24. Great to have you with us on ESPN KO, Sky Sports in New Zealand and on the FIBA YouTube channel around the world. Adelaide led by 14 points in the opening term. Since then, the Boomers have steadily worked their way back, got their noses in front, screen in with 1 quarter to play. They lead by 3.
And if you're Chris Lucas, you come to this game with probably 2 of your starters not in the lineup, you'd be pretty happy with where you're at considering how they started the game.
Let's head courtside to Megs.
And they are also without Amy Rochi, who suffered a concussion at training 2 weeks ago. She was cleared to play this weekend and travelled with the team to Adelaide today, but unfortunately has fallen ill and was ruled out at the 11th hour. She is watching from the hotel and she'll be liking what she saw in the third quarter. So get well soon, Amy, and we'll see what her Boomers can do in this final term.
She won't be the first and she won't be the last to have fallen victim to Keely Froling's elbows at training. Here is Keely. Davidson. Kalea from long range. Away comes Mansfield. These opening couple of minutes here for Adelaide just so important. Can they regain their composure? Can they find their rhythm? They were singing early. Turner. Bourne rather. Brazel at the back tidies it up. Izzy Bourne almost got a hand on that as it sizzled through the key. Really important basket for Brazel. The youngster ties up the scores. Reed to Davidson. Kalea, who's getting more minutes now with Blitzarves on 4 fouls. Hooks it round to Reed. Rattano. Froling. But short. And Turner. Bring it down the court for Adelaide. Just a step around Davidson. Gives it off. 3 balls short again from Borlays. It's Kalea against Brazel. Froling loses the handle. Turner feels it was a travel. Izzy Bourne asks the question. Call goes Melbourne's way. So Froling and Blitzarves got the Boomers rolling in that second term. Screen, it felt like They referenced off that combination, and everyone else just sort of worked around them.
And you would hope that, given their experience, how long they've played in the league, that would happen as the game goes on. They just get the feel. They understand how to gel with one another. It's going to take time, but credit's got to go to Penina Davidson. I think the 10 points, 10 rebounds in 10 minutes has been a huge factor as to why we see this tied ball game.
Great defensive work from Adelaide, double-teaming Davidson. Shot from Mole won't drop. Mansfield. Turner back to Lauren Mansfield. Trying to shake Rotunno. Takes a long-range shot, and that rattles around. Are they really tight rims tonight, or what?
Well, definitely down that southern end of the court. Are they what? I mean, 14% the Boomers were in the opening quarter. They're up to 32, but the tide has turned for Adelaide Lightning. Pretty similar.
Great ball movement from Melbourne, inside to outside, and Rotunno scores her first points as a Melbourne Boomer. Gives her team the lead. They're up by 3. 7.5 to play, opening night. 23-24, Reed versus Willoughby, and Terrar wins it. Davidson to Kalea. Pressured by Brazel. Taylor hits the floor. Kalea with some space, a little floater. Up goes Turner. Earns herself a foul.
And this is where the Boomers just need to slow down, get the ball through hands, and get the people the ball that have to have their ball in their heads. Froling, Blitzarves and the like, especially when the shot clock's low and you need to get some good shots. Give the ball to the people that you've recruited to get the job done for you.
So Blitzarves on 4 fouls, hence she's not out there at the moment. Izzy Bourne on 4 fouls. They're the only 2 players in real trouble. Mole from the corner. Again, we see it rattle around and not drop. Whistle goes. Boomers up by 3 with 7 to play. Pullman to Canada. Screen from Davidson. Offensive foul.
See this punch screen or screen in the side of the court. Sit with the referees on that one.
Turner sets a screen for Mansfield. Off to Brazel. Now to Willoughby. Shot clock down to 7. Works on Reed. Brazel gets a look and finishes. Youngster stepping up in some big moments here.
5 points to open this 4th quarter. Huge, considering her age and the stage.
First start tonight, her first WNBL game in 18 months after a knee reconstruction. Hillman, Canada. Davidson, one-on-one, gets rid of Turner and finishes. Penina Davidson up to 12 points. So Brazel the go-to at the moment. She's starting to feel some confidence. Mole against Canada. Oh, what a shot from Taylor Mole. Unorthodox but effective. Canada. Hillman's got Rotunno to the right, Canada to the left. She goes to Jordan. Davidson. Shot clock to 5, loses the handle. Good scrap. Brazel dives in again. Mansfield. Willoughby got the size advantage on Rotunno. Foul, offensive foul called. Jocelyn Willoughby.
Rush of blood there from the Adelaide Lightning. Got themselves into a great advantageous position with forcing the turnover. Just probably forced this one. Probably did have the advantage down the low block, but just saw that elbow just come up a little bit too high and probably a little bit too forceful. And
that's her 4th foul, so she's sitting down as well. Bourne on 4, Willoughby 4, Blitzarves 4. Still 5 minutes to play. Reed. Davidson from the corner. Penina from range. Off the front of the iron. Mole to Mansfield. A chance here for Adelaide to regain the lead. Brazel. Not this time. Away comes Canada as we hit the midway point of this final term. Whistle off the ball. Offensive foul.
A few interesting calls both ways in this fourth quarter, as we probably see Sarah Blitzarves coming back into the game.
5 minutes to play, 1 point game. So it was Adelaide by 11 points at the first change, 9 points at the half. Melbourne scored 25-13 in the third term to hit the front and lead by 3. At the moment, they hold a 1 point advantage. Let's take you inside the Melbourne huddle now. Here's Chris Lucas.
Play through this. Okay, next set, you've got to catch the score. Okay, have a look at your shot when it's there and then get them on closeouts and you'll get the drive. Okay, so have a look. Your swings are good, but you're still got to catch and square up. Okay, all right. Loop fist down. Okay, loop fist down. Okay. So you go to the point, yeah, and bring her into the pick and roll. Look at your high-low, then we're into a two-side. Post touches, defensively here. Straight up, stay with your rules. Here we go.
Melbourne Boomers!
Opening night on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. Great to have you with us. 5 minutes to play in this one. It is a 1 point game. Willoughby with 14 points for Adelaide. Panita Davidson up to 12 for the Boomers. Screening, we had a chance to listen in to Chris Lucas. Megs was in the Adelaide huddle. Megs.
I love from Nat Hurst, there's been a real tweak in the way she approaches her timeouts this season. It might be because of the young talent. She asked her group, what are you feeling? And Lauren Mansfield led the response. We saw bola going up for a shot there. Adelaide are looking to go to her. They haven't been dropping, but they're going to look to go to their young gun in these final few minutes.
Thanks, Megs. Matano. Canada. Another off-the-ball foul. Frustration for Melbourne. Jubilation for the Adelaide fans. And tonight at the 36ers Arena.
Tough. That's 3 offensive fouls in this quarter alone for the Melbourne Boomers, which is really just a forced turnover. Timing issues, if you will. Some would probably, if you're a Boomers fan sitting at home, say they're not offensive fouls. Either way, that's the way they've been caught, and we've just got to adjust. Really crucial time in this fourth quarter.
Taylor Mole. Clutch. Gives them the lead. And the youngster on a professional debut has shown she's ready to step up in the big moments.
She's got great composure. You know, just played a touch over 10 minutes, gotten us some really nice length as well. And not afraid to let it fly, and fly if you will, if you're going to find the better bottom of the net like she has done.
Canada feeds it through to Hillman. Lovely move, and they level the score.
Beautiful two-person game there through the middle of the court there from Canada. Hasn't been able to had any punch really from a points production point of view, but in terms of distribution, she got 7 assists.
Borlay's offensive breakdown there from the Boomers, and Izzy makes them pay. Back out by 2. Reed into Borlay's. She hits the floor. Froling receives from Canada and is fouled.
Interestingly, we see Panita Davidson on the bench, and also Blitzarves hasn't re-entered this fourth quarter given her impact in the third. But just seem to be going with what's working for them right now. Excuse me, Blitzarves is in the game.
Reed in the corner, way short, gets her own ball. Here is Sarah Blitzarves and gets it. Straight back into the game and gives Melbourne the lead. Mansfield, Turner. Borlays versus Reed. Hillman comes across to provide some support. Well done, Nars Hillman. Played that beautifully. Good heads-up defence. Canada brings it up the floor. 4 points, 8 assists. So far in her WNBL debut. Reed. Blitzarves. It's got Froling in the corner, gets rid of the defence. Can't get it to drop. And away comes Izzy Borlays once again. Take on Froling or use the support. She'll go to Mansfield. Lauren lets it fly. No good. So 2:45 to play. Boomers by a point. An opening night thriller in Adelaide. Canada to Reed. Tried to get it inside to Froling. Good defence from Adelaide. Forced the turnover and away comes Mansfield. Oh, the path just opened up for Borlase, and in the end, Reed just timed the swat away as Izzy was lifting to shoot. Canada spots an opening, goes herself and makes the bucket.
Put that one on the highlight reel if you don't mind. Play of the game there, but the last 3 possessions for the Adelaide Lightning, choices, shot selection have not gone well for this young team. All learning experiences, but really crucial in this last couple of minutes of this last quarter, Jace.
Jordan Canada just checking with the referees. Post this play. What a move from her. And then Turner threw it back in and threw it straight out. Let's head back into the Boomers huddle. Chris Lucas with his side, leading by 3 points. Just over 2 minutes remaining. There's Christy Harrower, his assistant. Chris now to address the troops.
Everyone, it's a baseline call here. Baseline ball. The 5. You go to the 5 spot on the ball side with Jordan, that's the inbounder. If you need to go hand off, yeah, it is base. If you want to go hand off on it, we can and play out of that, or you can go all the way through. You need. No. Yeah, LA. All right. Hey, time out right now. Come on, guys, let's go.
Melbourne,
Stop.
The Australian Sports Commission and the Australian Institute of Sport recognise the outstanding contribution Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people make to society and sport in Australia. They're proud to support Basketball Australia and the Cygnett WNBL Indigenous round. Great opportunity to celebrate the power of sport to promote reconciliation, reduce inequality and make sport a positive, welcoming place for everyone. Visit ausport.gov.au for more. 3-point game. Opening night, Boomers with the advantage. Canada inbounds to Hillman, then receives it immediately back from Nas. Froling, back to Canada. Jordan wants to spin on Mansfield, uses blitz halves, off the front iron. Canada in there scrapping again. Ball in dispute mid-court. It's caught under the legs there of Izzy Borlase. Jump ball call. Possession arrow is Adelaide's.
Huge stop there for the Adelaide Lightning, and hopefully whatever was discussed offensively from Coach Nat Hurst into her troops in that final timeout, they display it here in this possession because their last 3 weren't great. Hopefully it's ball through hands, potentially finding its way into Willoughby or Turner's for a potential shot opportunity here.
Willoughby inside to Mansfield. Let's see what they've got out of the timeout. Turn up. Borlase was the cut. Defensive hand in there. Turnover. Jordan Canada already taking control of this team. We've seen it through 4 quarters. They're taking control, and he's been with the group for a week. Froling. Hillman wants to work on Turner. Draws a foul. Frustration for Nat Hurst, who puts her head in her hands. With 1.7 seconds left on the shot clock.
And that hurts. You do almost everything right and then bail them out at the end. But credit to the Boomers for just finding a way and fighting through in that 24-second shot clock. Through the hands of one of their new recruits.
11 points, 7 rebounds for Nas tonight. It's been an impressive WNBL debut from her. It's going to be an important piece, just so versatile. 188 centimetres. 4-point game, so 2-possession game now for Melbourne with 80 seconds to play. Off the ball, whistle. Offensive foul as Canada hits the floor. Here's another look. Can you screen your thoughts?
It's a hard one. I don't think she was actually going to set a screen. I think it was supposed to be a ghost screen and maybe a cutting action. The whistle has been blown and been hot and heavy from the referees in this 4th quarter in terms of that kind of action. So the players kind of have to adjust. But, probably a play that's gone away from the Adelaide Lightning yet again, their 5th one in concession.
Mansfield pressing up on Canada. Jordan almost a stumble, manages to retain control. Will she take Turner on? Pulls back out, wants to create some space. She's already taken her on one-on-one so far tonight. Will she go again? No, she pulls out this time. Froling shot. Hillman again comes up with the O-board. Massive basket for Melbourne. And their dominance tonight on the glass has been telling. Rebounds 47-38, make it 48-38 now. They're plus 10 on the glass, Greenie.
And that's been the reason why they've been able to close the deficit. Huge rebound from Hillman there, probably the rebound of the game. They might be leading the rebound count, but it's the 20 O-boards, Jace, for the game that are really the telling difference between winning and losing this game tonight. 10 boards for Davidson, 10 for Froling, 8 for Hillman and Reid. So they've really done it by committee. Brianna Turner, 14 boards, but the next best for Adelaide, just 6 to Izzy Bourne. That's been the difference. Melbourne have had multiples. They've had 4 players all involved crashing the glass. They have indeed. It's been great for Melbourne, and that's what you got to do when it's not falling the right way that you want and finding the bottom of the net at times. You just got to do the gritty stuff, and it hasn't been a pretty game, Jace, let's be honest. But sometimes when you win and it's not going your way, it's just going to be a grind, and credit to the Boomers right now. But let's not hold anything in the Boomers light yet. There's still a 6-point game. There's still 3 possessions here. Quit hit here from the Lightning and a stop, and we've still got a ball game on our hands. Timeout brought to you by the new WNBL app. Download it now from the App Store. So final 55 seconds of opening night. Melbourne trail by 14 in the opening term. They lead by 6 now. What can Adelaide come up with here? Mansfield. One-on-one with Canada. Shot clock down to 4. Big shot from the corner. It's short. And the shot clock expires. Mansfield can't get it off. Another great defensive set from the Boomers. Adelaide, 24 points in the opening term, just 36 since. They've managed to put the clamps on the Melbourne. We said at the start of the night, Screening, look, if you could hold their opponent under 70, that might be the figure. And right now, that looks about right. Considering Adelaide Lightning has scored 24 points in the opening term, we're up as much as 14 points, Jace, to get a 20-point turnaround with only really 9 players. Amy Rochi is back at the hotel. You're missing Christy Wallace starting. No Mon Conti. Opal as well, AFL superstar and Conti. This is a huge win for the Melbourne Boomers. Reid. This is the first, this next basket. Well, those 2 free throws would have been really handy. If she can make one here, get it at least out to 7 points. Just a little bit of extra breathing space. She makes the second. Takes a big sigh of relief to Reid, the 25-year-old from Auckland, on her WNBL debut tonight. 9 points for her, 8 rebounds, a couple of steals, a couple of assists. It's been a good all-round performance from her in her first game in Lilac. It has. It's been sensational, in fact, and she's slotted in really nicely, found herself at home. Again, just doing the little things, being in the right place at the right time, not forcing the issue in terms of wanting to stamp her authority on the game, but has done so regardless. Now for the Adelaide Lightning in this timeout, it's got to be a quick hitting play. They've got to get a shot off in the first couple of seconds of the inbound. Make or miss, they've probably got to foul straight away and force the Boomers into a turnover. As Hillman with 14 points, has worked her way through the game superbly, played 28 minutes. Jordan Canada's been out there for 36. Brianna Turner, almost 38 minutes. She's been a workhorse for Adelaide tonight. Just the 3 points for her, but 15 rebounds and 8 assists for Brianna Turner on her return. It's nice to see her back in the league. It obviously hasn't been the scoring punch we would have expected from her. She's only had the 4 shots. It would have been nice to see Adelaide use her a little bit more, but you can't question her effort in the other statistical categories, as you mentioned, Jace. A timeout thanks to Ford Aussie Hoops, the perfect introduction to the world of basketball for kids aged 5 to 10, registered today. Can Adelaide find a quick hit? Mansfield to the corner. Reid up in her face. Back to Turner. Throws it around. They need to put the shot up. Shot clock down to 5. Tough one from the corner, won't drop. It's been the story of the second half for Adelaide, and Reid under the basket doing the grunt work again. She showed some real grit tonight to Reid.
Mum Justine played for New Zealand. She's now the women's 3x3 coach. She moved to New Zealand at the age of 14 for her basketball, 4 years at VCU, and a season at USC, played in Finland last summer. Now making a WNBL debut again, alongside childhood friend Penina Davidson tonight. Kiwi international, the tall fern. The double figures on her debut, she makes it. Final 25 seconds. The laser shot goes up. Here's Reed again, another board. Canada. Into the front court. She'll be happy to retain possession here. And the New Look Boomers get the start they were hoping for. Melbourne pick up an early win on the road. Their 7th straight victory over the Adelaide Lightning. Melbourne 68, Adelaide 60.
Huge win for the Melbourne Boomers on the road to start WNBL 24. It didn't look likely, Jason, that opening term as we saw Adelaide come out of the gates 24-13, but then the momentum, the grit, the determination shown by Chris Lucas and Christy Harrower, his assistant there on screen, just got the job done. It was gritty, it was gutsy, it was blue collar, but sometimes that's the way you're going to win. A lot of learnings, though, for Adelaide. There's a lot to like about this young group. Nat Hurst and her crew have got to hold their head high because they can learn a lot from that last 5 minutes in decision-making, shot selection, and I think they're going to be a dark horse in this season.
Yeah, frustrating night for Adelaide. They'll walk away feeling like that's one that slipped out of their fingers. They led by 14 points in the opening term. After quarter time, it was 55-36 in favour of the Boomers, so a 19-point swing. Melbourne felt like they just got better as the night went on. You'd expect that from a group that's only got one returning player, so no real existing chemistry. But across the 4 quarters, you started to see it evolve.
Absolutely, and that's what you would expect to become of players with probably a bit more basketball experience compared to that of Adelaide Lightning.
Megans with their coach, Chris Lucas.
In this very stadium in Adelaide, this would have to be up there tonight. What a comeback.
Yeah, look, really pleased with our group. It wasn't pretty basketball, and we know we're a long way off, but we've got a lot of character in this group, and they'll keep fighting, and I really like our second half.
It was an incredible defensive effort and the clamps you put on Adelaide, who had 24 points in the first quarter. Talk about the character of the group. Let's talk about the character of Penina Davidson. She's been the player that's been around this club the longest now, 5 seasons, the only player tonight that was there last year, and she stood up for you in the third.
Yeah, she was terrific tonight, wasn't she? I think even in the first half she was good, and she's had her bet, like I've had her for 3 pre-seasons, and this is clearly her best pre-season. What she's working on now is to get transfer into games, and I thought she did that tonight.
So new group, underwomaned as well. 3 guards out tonight, losing Amy Rocci just hours before the game. What kind of self-belief and momentum can a win like this give you heading into a game against Southside on Saturday night?
I think right now we'll just enjoy it. Southside are huge, we both know that, and they're deep, but I think we just enjoy tonight. This game 1 of a long year, and you know, it's not, we don't want to be in a hurry, but we've got a lot of work to do.
But let's talk about being underwomaned, though. Obviously lost Amy today. Christy Wallace will hopefully see before Christmas, and then Monique Conti's busy kicking around a pigskin. So yeah. You've got a few pieces to come in.
Yeah, look, I think some girls off the bench did really well tonight. I thought Lily was terrific, and Mon finished.
Sherry?
Yeah, Cherie, yeah. I think Mon finishes footy this weekend. You know, they have made finals. Looking forward to having her in the group. And Wally, you know, we're just going to take our time till she's right. It's a big year for her. And yeah, just really excited. We're undersized, but we compete, and I'm really pleased with that.
You sure did compete. You've been up against it in round 1 on Wednesday night, ESPN, 2 seasons running, and you've now got the win in both. Great effort tonight, Chris Lucas. Hey, that smile's still there. The coach is thriving, isn't he? Well done, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks to Chris Lucas and to Megan Huswaite. Well, they might be undersized, but they won the rebound count all night, 48-39. Their O-board work was fantastic. They crashed the glass.
And he mentioned that, didn't he, that that's what they're going to do. They're going to find their weapon in other ways and make things gritty for other teams. They didn't do that in the opening term, but credit to them. they just stuck to what they wanted to do, stuck to the game plan, and it came their way in the end.
Speak about the impact of Penina Davidson. She got up and spoke really passionately at the season launch, got up in front of the group and made a 6 or 7 minute speech in front of sponsors and key people and board members and everyone involved in the club. And for anyone who knows Penina Davidson, it's just a measure of how much she's evolved as an individual over the last 5 years. She now sees herself as a senior veteran of this club and a leader of this young group.
Well, I think also she's been in the shadow of some great Australian players in the likes of George and Madgen over the last couple of years. So maybe this is her opportunity to, though, take the reins of the leadership and contribute a lot more on the court this year.
From an Adelaide perspective, what does Nat Hurst walk away from tonight pleased with?
A lot of learnings. They come out of the blocks really well in terms of that opening term. They set the tone. That last 5 minutes, they can go back and reflect, and they'll learn a lot from that. I think there'll be a lot more impact from Brianna Turner as the season goes on. Willoughby, I think she was a shining light from there. So there's a lot to like. Disheartened at times in that last term with their decision making, but they'll get better.
4 games to come: Perth and Sydney Friday night, Bendigo, Townsville, and Southside Melbourne on Saturday. The Caps and Adelaide to come. All these games streaming live and free around Australia on 9 Now. If you're an international viewer, you can catch every game live on the FIBA YouTube channel or next day on WNBA League Pass. That wraps up opening night on ESPN's WNBL Wednesday. It's Melbourne off to the perfect start. On behalf of Jenny Screen, Megan Huswaite, our entire production team,